Hello and welcome. This is Into Vietnam, the daily and exclusive business bulletin on VITV channel. Our top stories. The HSC forecasts the consumer price index will fall 0.83% in early next year on petrol price light. Crack rose by 11.8% as of December the 19th. And Vietnam incurs a trade deficit of $474 billion in December. The Ho Chi Minh City Securities Company says the recent slide in domestic petrol prices will result in a drop of 0.83% in early 2015. HSC estimated the recent change in petrol prices will bring in a total drop of 0.98% in the next 2 months CPI. The company says petrol prices will continue to fall once or twice ahead of the Lunar New Year, as a price light normally follows a drop in global oil prices in a couple of weeks. According to the securities company, Vietnam is lacking price pressures, and the consumer price index will hover at around 5% in 2015, which is not a price prospect at the moment. And now let's move on some related news from Ho Chi Minh City. The Ho Chi Minh City Statistics Department has announced the city consumer price index in December dropped by 0.36% from November. This is attributed to the continuous rise in petroleum and gas prices, dragging down prices of other commodities. 5 out of 11 basket of goods had their prices fall this month, and the stronger drop was witnessed in the transport and telecom sectors, which decreased by 3.54% from the previous month. In line with CPI changes, gold prices in the Southern Hub fell by 0.56%, while the US dollar rose by 0.53% on month. Also, according to the Ho Chi Minh City Statistics Department, the city GDP grew by 9.58% in 2014 versus the growth rate of 9.3% in 2013. The service sector maintained the biggest contribution to GDP growth in Ho Chi Minh City with 6.59 percentage points, while the respective proportions for industry and construction and agroforestry and fisheries sectors are 2.93 percentage points and 0.06 percentage points. The State Bank of Vietnam on December the 23rd revealed total outstanding loan expanded by 11.8% as of December the 19th. With the result, Vietnam is well on its way to realize the great growth target of 13% by the end of this year. As of December the 19th, total means of payment rose by 15.65% from the beginning of the year, which complies with the 14 to 15% target set earlier this year. Total mobilized funds by banks rose by 15.15%, of which deposits in Vietnam Dong rose significantly by 16.31%. Interest rate in banks in 2014 were 1.5 to 2% lower than the end of last year. The rates applied for overdue loans continue to be adjusted down. Total loans in Vietnam Dong with more than 15% annual rate made up 3.9% of the total loans in the Dong, falling 6.3% from the end of last year. In the meantime, loans rated over 13% per year accounted for 10.65%, compared with 19.72% by the end of 2013. The General Customs Department announced Vietnam fell back to running a net trade deficit of $474 million in the first half of this month,
as exports hit $5.82 billion, while imports were estimated at $6.3 billion. So far this year, imports is $142.68 billion, up 13.5%, while imports stood at $140.29 billion, resulting in a trade surplus of $2.39 billion by the middle of December, falling $2.88 billion from the end of November. FDI's sector enjoyed a trade surplus of $39 million in the first half this month.
In 2013-2014, Vietnam's coffee sector faced many hardships amid global and local tough economic conditions. In 2014-2015 period, climate changes and prolonged drought will reduce the country's coffee output by 20% compared with previous year. Obviously, it's having huge impacts on this year's coffee exports.
According to VITV, in coffee year 2013 to 2014, Vietnam's total coffee exports reached 1.66 million tons, worth $3.4 billion. The figures represented an increase of 17.2% in volume, yet 12.5% in value on a year basis. Vietnam remains the second coffee producer after Brazil.
Về mặt sản lượng thì chúng ta xuất khẩu được trên 1,6 triệu tấn. Về mặt giá trị kim ngạch thì chúng ta đạt được là 3 tỷ 4 đô la, là được đứng là ngành cái số lượng kim ngạch lớn nhất trong cái ngành nông sản của Việt Nam của năm 2014. Và cái thứ ba là người nông dân Việt Nam thì bán được một cái giá bình quân là khoảng trên 40.000, là cái mức giá mà có thể nói rằng đó là một cái giá tốt mà trong nhiều năm qua trong những năm gần đây thì chúng ta mới có được.
In addition, VAT exemption can also reduce its difficulties for businesses. However, Vietnam Coffee mainly export green coffee, with more than 90% of the total export value.
Mới chế biến được khoảng 10% và chúng ta đã đạt được con số là 3,4 triệu đô la. Nếu chúng ta phấn đấu đến 2020, chúng ta đạt được 25% qua chế biến, thì chắc chắn cái mục tiêu chúng ta đạt ra được trên 4 tỷ đô la thì đơn giản. Nhưng mà con số từ 10 đến 25% này thì tôi nghĩ rằng là các nhà hoạch định rồi các hội viên của chúng ta phải hết sức chặt chẽ thì mới đạt được.
As reported by VITV, coffee production in the coffee year 2014 to 2015 will reduce 20 to 25% in comparison with last year due to 30% reduction of Arabica coffee, disease infection of Highland Robusta coffee, drought in many areas, and the increase of old coffee trees. In the last dry season, Highland was just enough water for 60% of planting area. Besides, 100,000 hectare area of more than 20 years old coffee trees in Highland, accounting for about 30% of planting area, will reduce the next season's production.
Hiện nay cái nguồn nước để đảm bảo tưới với cây cà phê và các loại cây trồng khác đối Tây Nguyên cũng là một vấn đề cần phải quan tâm. Rồi một việc nữa là cái tỷ lệ cà phê hiện nay già cỗi cũng bắt đầu gia tăng rồi. Cho nên là chính phủ đã chỉ đạo cho ngân hàng nhà nước có một cái chương trình tín dụng hỗ trợ tái canh cà phê trong vòng 3 năm, từ 2013 đến 2015. Nhưng mà hiện nay thực hiện chương trình tái canh này cũng không phải là chuyện đơn giản.
Difficulties in planting growing region is the main obstacle for the replanting program. In 5 Highland provinces, only Đắk Lắk has overcome this difficulty. Besides, shortage of quality coffee strains and funds are another problems.
And now before we go, let's check out today's local gold prices, forex and stock market. Well, that's the very end of the program. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back at the top of the hour. Till then, bye bye.